They'll destroy a small city before the other hunters arrive. But at least we'll have to take down the boss here. The guards haven't reacted yet. Can we get past them to take down the magician? Everyone also understood that when the captain gave the signal, they would all go up and aim at the magician. The Lord asked, "Are you afraid of me, human?" His roar made everyone here panic. The magic power emitted was extremely terrifying. Everyone was sweating profusely. This guy is on another level. In comparison, the raid team's mage is in the 3rd rank. Captain Kai-hoon asked him, why did he bring his group here when his soldiers were enough to take down his entire team? The orc's lord said that for fun, he will kill them one by one to entertain his people. However, there was something different among them. Captain Kai-hoon also collapsed when he heard this. Entertainment. Is our determination just an entertainment game for them? Instead of seeing us as enemies, to him our lives are just toys that are thrown away whenever they get bored. The captain shouted loudly, "Everyone attack now." Kai-hoon charged forward, but the orc used the patron saint's chant to create a solid ice shield that blocked his attack. He laughed at the stupid humans and continued to use the gravity skill to lift Kai-hoon high into the air and then hit the ground hard, seriously injuring him. Then repeated it over and over again, making all members of the team panic. Jinwoo couldn't bear it anymore and went to save Kai-hoon. Jinwoo looked at Kai-hoon lying barely alive and asked him how much this dungeon was bought by the Hunter Association. Maybe I will cause damage, but the people in this room are preparing to be killed. Let me ask you a question. Can I kill all the monsters in this room? An orc was about to attack Jinwoo, but he used the ruler's hand skill, causing it to fly away, much to Kai-hoon's surprise. Jinwoo asked him again, can I kill all the monsters here? Kai-hoon realized his chance to live had come. He begged Jinwoo to save them. The magician still did not know that his end had come. He said, for a human, you are quite strong, but can you defeat all of us? Jinwoo prepares to beat them and says, I have never seen anyone with magic power as strong as you. He smiled complacently because it was natural. Jinwoo's expression at this moment was filled with murderous intent. Anyway, this fight was a bit lame. I mean lame for you. Jinwoo then summoned his dark army. Outside the dungeon, an association vehicle appeared, making everyone look a bit confused. The association's hunters just arrived. What are they investigating? Something must have happened. Director Woo appeared. He walked down, looked towards the gate, and thought, why is he working as a miner here? Not 1 day but 2 days. Some Jinwoo will soon become famous because of his S rank. He better understand that he has to be careful of being followed. The mining team leader approached and asked what had brought the association's inspector here. The director said that he received information that worker Sum Jinwoo was working here. Where is he now? Was it that young man again? The group leader said. Is there a problem, boss? The worker Jinwoo updated it earlier replied. I knew right away he probably killed someone. When that bastard glared at me, I thought I was swallowed by him. Just telling you this gives me goosebumps. The director asked who was in there now. The team leader said Jinwoo had already entered the gate. The porter didn't come today and no one was willing to go, so he volunteered to be the porter and went in there. After listening, Director Woo didn't know what to say. This guy stopped being a miner and is now a porter. The team leader didn't understand what was wrong with everyone today, but even Hunter Cha-hae came to find him and followed him into the gate. The director couldn't believe his ears after hearing it. He was still trying to ask if Jinwoo killed someone. He looks very similar. The director calmly said that he would know the news tomorrow. Everyone did not believe that Jinwoo would be a murderer because he worked very hard. Director Woo walked closer to the gate and it emitted an amount of magic that caused him to break the glasses he was wearing. He panicked and shouted, Oh my God, am I wrong? For a moment I thought my body was being torn apart. They took out the energy meter. The reading was so high that it was almost an S-rank gate. Director Woo thought to himself, if the attack team in this dungeon was assigned according to the old results, they would be in big trouble. There shouldn't be any problem since there are 2 S-rank hunters inside, but we'll go inside immediately. They entered the dungeon with a desolate interior. The corpses of orcs monsters lay scattered on the road. They didn't know how Kai-hoon's team could defeat them and survive when there were so many high orcs. Cha-hae outside was preparing to enter and felt the power of the boss inside the cave. She thought that if that were the case, Kai-hoon's people would definitely not survive. Inside, the leader looked at Jinwoo's soldiers and said that there were only so many that he wanted to take down his soldiers. Jinwoo told him not to underestimate his soldiers too much because that would be quite disastrous. Jinwoo activated the king's territory skill and all his shadow soldiers increased their stats by 50%. This is the skill after Jinwoo reached level 70 by climbing the demon tower. Thanks to that, his shadow soldiers are much stronger. The witches on the team were surprised by Jinwoo's abilities. The guy who summoned the fire guardian was surprised because he could only summon a maximum of 2. The girl next to her was also surprised. How could a human contain that much magical energy? The leader ordered his subordinates to kill all of Jinwoo's soldiers. Iron here uses a taunt skill, but the enemy's stats are too high, so that skill fails. Iron swung his axe to start the battle. Igris swung his sword and slashed a few orcs after him. They still rushed forward and Jinwoo went into battle to defeat the orcs next to him. Looking at Jinwoo's skills, the hunters couldn't stop admiring him because he was so skillful, even more beautiful than the Vice Guild. Jinwoo analyzed the battle. Except for Iron, Igris, and Tank, Jinwoo's remaining soldiers are B rank. They were destroyed several times trying to take down an orc. The numbers were overwhelming, so Jinwoo needed to balance as quickly as possible. The leader used Hymn of the Fire Dragon, causing a large number of shadow soldiers to be defeated. The leader sitting on the throne started to speak. Jinwoo was really angry, and then he said that as long as mana is still there, they will still be restored, but the leader said, "Your mana will eventually run out. You will run out of mana before you defeat all my soldiers." Jinwoo rushed to the leader and shouted, "You will die before that." The high orcs used the guardian chant, causing Jinwoo's attacks to bounce back. He told Jinwoo, "It's useless. The more time you waste with me, the faster your soldiers will die." Jinwoo told him he was a bit confused because he had some pretty strong soldiers himself, so why was he worried about him? The high orcs, hearing this, became angry and used the fiery chant skill to burn a large force of soldiers. Jinwoo realized he's stronger than Vulcan and Metis. Metis was able to control thousands of the undead, but had a weak defense. He has outstanding defense and powerful spells. And behind me, we're fighting hundreds of high orcs in a lopsided battle. It's different since when I took on the job change quest. Jinwoo ordered the system to open the inventory. He held the jar of mana in his hand. "Now I can just use it freely," Jinwoo said to the leader. "Since I don't want to fill my stomach with potions, I'll finish you off quickly. It'll be an interesting spectacle. I will now show you the unwavering domain of a necromancer." Jinwoo gave the order to rise up. The high orcs that had previously died suddenly stood up, making the leader somewhat incredulous. He asked Jinwoo why he dared to turn his warriors into undead. Jinwoo said, "There are still many of your soldiers, but they will soon become my dark soldiers when I'm done. You will too." The high orcs seemed to notice something from Jinwoo, but suddenly he had a problem. The two orcs wondered why we were here. Why is it that when we open our eyes, a whispering voice constantly commands us in our heads to hunt down all humans? The leader ordered his subordinates to tear the soldiers' bodies into pieces and offer them to me. Jinwoo smiled and said that he would let his subordinates play with his subordinates. The battle was extremely fierce, but I felt that Iron seemed a bit stupid, and Sis was very cool, always swinging and killing each other. It was a joy to watch. While Iron was about to be sneak attacked, the tank behind him came up and knocked an orc away, and they even gave each other a very nice signal. Jinwoo here said, "I thought they would entertain my subordinates a bit. Turns out that's all." But in fact, Jinwoo is confident a bit early. When mana is starting to burn faster even after using several potions. If he runs out of mana, his soldiers will disappear immediately. The leader witnessed everything and was extremely surprised. On the other side, the hunters didn't want to stand by and watch anymore, so they wanted to help. But the high orcs leader continuously used the chant of blindly crazy chant of agony to stop them, making them feel like they wanted to die. He said it's already a burden, so worry about being an audience. Don't feed, and now don't try to be arrogant in front of my great Kagogan. Then all the skills were continuously discharged into Jinwoo's body, but it seemed he was not harmed at all. The leader was also extremely shocked when he saw it. "Impossible. How can you resist all my curses?" Jinwoo smiled and asked him if he didn't remember what he said. "It's not good to fight alone and fight alone. Jinwoo ordered a magician to use the fireball skill combined with Orb of Avariv. The High Orcs leader used the Guardian chant, but his shield was shattered. Chahae it approached the battle and was surprised. She wondered if they were all summoned creatures. Even the best summoner can only control one or two at most. What's going on here? Everyone who saw Chahae couldn't help but be happy and call her name. Chahae asked about their situation. The leader shouted that Jinwoo's skills had absolutely no effect on him. Then he frantically used his skills like a madman. He was really angry, but it seemed like Jinwoo still looked at him like a clown doing tricks. Jinwoo said he had a bad past with the giants. He made him feel pain. At this time, Jinwoo's mana had run out of names. The leader said, "Don't be so cocky because he will play with Jinwoo a little." He blew out a breath and created a huge ball that attacked Jinwoo, but Jinwoo dodged and then a fatal blow fell on the leader. Because his body is big, he will become an easier target. There is no way he can block the assassin's skills when he is a magician without support. Then Director Wu also walked inside and was surprised by such a scene. Chahae said that those were Jinwoo's summoned monsters. Returning to the battle, Jinwoo attacked the leader. But he knew he couldn't deal fatal damage to a giant. So at times like this, you can only use your fists. Chahae here was surprised because not only guild leader Choi, but also the head of the surveillance department also knew Jinwoo. The director said he came here to help after sensing an unusual source of magic waves, but it seemed there was no need. In the past they had seen Hunter summon Jinwoo clear in a ranked dungeon by himself. No matter how you looked at it, he looked like a normal hunter. Can he use such terrible summoning magic? This is Hunter Sum Jinwoo's ability. How many magical beasts can he summon? Chahae asked Director Wu, "Who is he? Do you know anything about him?" Director Wu replied that he knew a little about him, just a little. Jinwoo stood in front of the leader to tell him the truth that the moment a magician loses his guards, his chance of survival is 0. He was angry and unyielding. But then another blow fell, leaving him broken to pieces. The system announces that the dungeon boss has been defeated and you have been leveled up. Jinwoo thought to himself, "I have defeated the boss and the remaining high orcs have been dealt with. It's time to pick up the things dropped from the boss, right?" But Jinwoo thought again. This dungeon belongs to the Hunter Guild. I would have been known as a greedy person, but instead Jinwoo just extracted the shadow. Then Jinwoo placed his hand on the leader's body and shouted, "Rise!" The magic flow slowly poured in, and the leader was restored with a new body. Everyone who witnessed this scene was extremely afraid of the strong, submissive high orcs in front of Jinwoo. He said, "It seems like you became quieter when you became my shadow, right?" Before, Jinwoo only knew 3 levels: normal, elite, and knight. But this was the first time he met this elite level of knight, as expected from a shadow extracted from a rank of dungeon. Jinwoo thought about what name to give it because he didn't remember the name before, so Jinwoo named it Tusk. Having the power of these high orcs would be really good. Now Jinwoo can save up to 127 balls. First, the shadow soldiers who exceed the limit will have to be removed. The rest will be kept. Director Wu Jinchul called Jinwoo, startling him. There's also Chahae too. The director said that he represented the Hunter Association in charge of supervising Hunter Sung Jinwoo, and that this was a top-secret matter that could not be revealed to the outside world. We will leave the dungeon. We will provide you with a full report such as please keep what you witness confidential. Then some staff said they would take Jinwoo out of here. This is the best way to avoid any trouble later. He had just shown off his strength that surpassed even S rank within the area of a leading guild in the southern region. We will help you leave here quietly. The leader of the raid team also said, if you are really that strong, then with what happened, he would not say and would not ask why he volunteered to be a porter. We were able to survive thanks to you. Let me thank you on behalf of the entire team. Jinwoo gave the notebook back to Miss Healer. He said that you managed to survive, so why don't you hand it over yourself? Miss Healer happily accepted it and then they left. Vice President Chahae was left behind. The short-haired mage innocently asked why the vice president brought a hoe. Chahae blushed and asked if he looked stupid, but never mind. At a restaurant, Jinho is waiting for Jinwoo to come to discuss a very important matter. Jinwoo's decision will decide Jinho's fate. After a while of waiting, Jinwoo also arrived. Jinwoo suddenly asked why Jinwoo's clothes were like that. He replied that this was because he had just returned from the dungeon, so he was a bit dirty. Jinwoo seemed surprised because Jinwoo had been practicing in the dungeon all this time, just as he expected. Then Jinwoo told Jinwoo all the process he had discussed. Talk to his father. Jinwoo asked, so while negotiating with his father, MANHWA appeared and revealed everything that happened inside the red gate. Jinwoo nodded. Yes, despite the fact that the rescued MANHWA was a member of the White Tiger Gang. Jinwoo sighed because that guy really said things that shouldn't have been said. He gently asked Jinwoo, and so you need me to join to be the boss of Jin's guild? Jinwoo heard this and his face was full of determination. I will leave everything to Nim's decision. There's no need for me to weigh you down. Hearing this, Jinwoo felt a bit awkward. At the Hunter Association headquarters, Choi Jong-in was surprised and asked Kai-hoon, you said some Jinwoo joined our raid. He joined the mining group yesterday and worked as a porter, and today, Hunter Kai-hoon? Kai-hoon here said that he doesn't know what he's thinking, but I believe his purpose won't hinder our raid, because the boss was beyond our capabilities. We couldn't protect our lives, and Hunter Sung Jinwoo, who watched the entire raid from the porter's position. He had no other choice. Choi Jong-in also replied, White Tiger Guild, the hunters of our guild also received help from him. Choi Jong-in thought at this moment, being able to summon magical beasts moves like a hunter-killer and has the ability to summon monsters that died in battle as his soldier. These are abilities we've never seen, but what if he has more hidden abilities? Choi Jong-in asked Kai-hoon if he was that strong. Compare the two of us. Which one of us is stronger? Kai-hoon did not answer directly but said, to cover up the weaknesses in each raid, we often divide into many specific tasks. If an attack and support mission is missing one of the three positions on a plan, the attack team will be in danger. The weakness of one member will be supplemented by the advantages of another member, which is common, but he went beyond that common sense. Can you clear a high-level A-rank dungeon yourself? Hearing this, Choi Jong-in's limbs were shaking. He thought it was impossible. How could I be so strong? If I'm surrounded by dozens of demonic beasts, it will be difficult for me to maintain the defensive stance. Then Choi Jong-in replied, I can't. The title of Ultimate Warrior sounds ridiculous. Kai-hoon replied, President Choi, I have no right to say anything about the guild's recruitment process. But can that man, Hunter Sung Jinwoo, be brought back to our guild? The president promised Kai-hoon he would try his best. In front of the Hunter Association's door, journalists were preparing their cameras to wait for a person named Lee Min-sung. He sat in the car and looked outside, satisfied, and said to the manager, There are many people coming to see it. I will see it again. The manager gave Lee Min-sung the title for tomorrow. Lee Min-sung picked up the paper and read. Lee Min-sung is a boy who has everything. Now he has power that surpasses humanity. Min-sung commented that it was a bit childish but not bad. Suddenly the reporters were surprised when Bak Yoon-ho. Choi Jong-in is here as well. Bak Yoon-ho didn't understand why the reporters gathered here in such large numbers. A reporter asked the two of them if they had come to the Hunter Association to recruit Lee Min-sung. Is the Southern Korean representative of the Hunter Guild. What do you think about Lee Min-sung's return from the entertainment industry after retirement? What rank do you think Lee Min-sung reached? Please give your opinion on Lee Min-sung. Bak Yoon-ho was confused. What, are you all gathered here because of Lee Min-sung or something else? Why did they hold a press conference in front of the Hunter Guild? President Bak said I didn't come here because of him, so I won't comment any further. Choi Jong-in also made it clear that Lee Min-sung had signed a contract with the Death Guild and that he was also here for something else. Everyone who heard this was disappointed because they thought they had found important news. Bak Yoon-ho and Choi Jong-in stood next to each other and kept talking bad about each other like two crazy people. Bak says, We both finally got help from Jinwoo. President Choi also said, If it weren't for Jinwoo, his Team B would have been wiped out. So for moral reasons, President Choi wanted to invite Jinwoo to his guild at any cost. Bak said that his guild had suffered great casualties, so he needed to invite Jinwoo to the guild to provide additional reinforcements. Choi Jong-in heard that and immediately asked, What, are you asking an S rank to come in as reinforcements? Are you planning on preparing for war somewhere or something? These two men continued to fight with each other for another 180 minutes, until Lim Tai-ju's rank appeared. Isn't that Choi Jong-in and Bak Yoon-ho? Hey you two, don't say you two are fighting because of Min-sung. The two angry men turned and shouted, "We don't care about Lee Min-sung, Lee Min-ju or whatever." After listening, he didn't understand what was going on with these guys. Lee Min-sung inside didn't understand the problem and looked outside and said, "Choi Jong-in and Bak Yoon-ho are also coming here. The nation's top guilds are fighting each other over me," the driver said. "We have finished preparing to start the first press conference." Min-sung walked into the crowd. The journalist enthusiastically took pictures of him. Jinwoo stood outside and didn't understand what had happened here. Had the reporters already sniffed out the news? Maybe they don't look like they've recognized me yet. I won't be able to go to the guild building if the situation stays like that. Jinwoo saw that and immediately pushed his way into the reporters to ask for directions. Min-sung's driver stopped Jinwoo and asked, "Hey, who are you? Are you a member of the association? Don't you see all the reporters here? You can't just walk past them." Jinwoo said he had business with the association, but the driver still stubbornly stopped him and told Jinwoo to go back. Min-sung looked at Jinwoo and thought, what's wrong with him? It makes no sense that he should quickly get rid of such a guy. Chairman Gun-hee stepped out and asked the driver, "Whose permission are you planning on sending him away?" "That person is our guest, Mr. Lee Min-sung. I'm sure you already know who gave you permission to hold the press conference here." Min-sung heard that and immediately replied, "Of course." The chairman then invited Jinwoo to go inside. Lee Min-sung was angry and didn't know who Jinwoo was, so the president personally invited him inside. Why did he dare ruin my public debut? Let's find out how cool he is, Lee Min-sung ordered. Min-sung turned down to look at the press and smiled and said, "Please excuse me, I want to quickly discuss with the association regarding today's schedule." While about to go inside, Director Woo and several security guards blocked the door. The director said another hunter was undergoing an evaluation. Until the evaluation ended at 11 o'clock, no one was allowed in the building. After hearing this, Min-sung's jaw dropped. He looked at the clock and saw there were 30 minutes left. Min-sung tried to explain that he had a rank assessment appointment at 11 o'clock and the reporters were here. "Let me through. The president already knows about this, but you still block the door and don't let me through?" Lee Min-sung whispered that Director Woo doesn't know who he is. Director Woo said that if he had an appointment to evaluate his ranking at 11 o'clock, he could come in then. The name Min-sung still stubbornly asked, "Does the director not know that the largest sponsor of the association is Eugene Construction Group? My father is the vice president of the corporation. Don't you have to serve me with the money he donated to me? Don't you see those people too? If you dare to ignore me in front of all the cameras, can you bear the consequences of that?" The director said he could handle it. Min-sung heard that and shouted loudly, "Who do you think you are? Those two hunters are very amazing." Director Woo took off his glasses and stared at Lee Min-sung. Question: will Min-sung bear the consequences? Inside the Hunter Association, Bak and Choi went to the room to wait for Jinwoo to come here. The chairman said that they were here an hour ago and have been waiting for Jinwoo since then. "You are the first S-rank hunter in the past 2 years." Choi Jong-in had felt even more nervous since witnessing his strength. The employee team came to greet Jinwoo and said before starting the assessment, "We will soon recognize his abilities." "What are your abilities?" Jinwoo summoned a shadow warrior, making everyone a bit surprised. The employee asked if this was a summoned creature. "You can control creatures." The chairman looked at Jinwoo and asked, "Hunter-son Jinwoo, do you mean that's all your abilities are?" Jinwoo also understood now because there were many witnesses, so he couldn't lie anymore. Jinwoo then summoned his entire army of darkness, surprising everyone. The whole army of more than 100 magical energy emitted from Jinwoo, making Bak afraid, incomparable to their previous meeting. Jinwoo now completely overwhelmed Bak. President Bak asked Jinwoo if he could spare some time for himself. Jinwoo said he had something to do, so he had to leave now. Bak said, if it was Jinwoo, he wouldn't have walked over there. Song-I gave her phone to Jinha. Reading the news about Jinwoo made Jinha a bit surprised. "Why is my brother on TV?" Back 10 minutes ago, Min-sung told the reporter, if the evaluation results are not good, and I get low ratings. Then he will fight against the demonic beasts in return for everyone's love and concern from then until now, regardless of the evaluation results. Lee Min-sung will protect this city as a hunter. Everyone who came here was surprised. What? Isn't Lee Min-sung retiring? Regardless of my rating, are you saying that you will really give up your position as Asia's #1 star to wait to become a hunter even if you have a low ranking? Standing above, he saw everyone praising him and felt very satisfied. It's all just a blatant lie because he already has a real evaluation result within a rating. It only takes 2 years. He will get a large amount of money when he signs with the Death Association. A series of his interests and plans have been established since then. Suddenly, a few journalists received news that the 10th S rank hunter in Korea had appeared, shocking everyone. On the updated page, he is the 10th S rank hunter. Everyone realized that the evaluation room was still closed, so surely the new S rank hunter was still inside behind Lee Min-sung. They didn't want to miss the opportunity to report on this 10th hunter anymore. They blamed Director Woo. Why didn't they inform them sooner? Everyone is now focusing on Jinwoo's affairs and ignoring Lee Min-sung, who is still complacent. He also wondered why there was an S rank hunter today and not another day. Lee Min-sung called reporter Lim, but he also said he would interview him later. Everyone has now received the news that Jinwoo is the 10th S rank hunter in Korea. The miner who heard Jinwoo's news earlier said, "I knew it." When Jinwoo glared at him, he saw that he was a cruel man, but he was wrong because the news said that Jinwoo was the 10th hunter in Korea. Both Joo-hee and Mr. Song, Jin-ho's father, also knew and asked Jin-ho if he had recruited Jinwoo yet. Jin-ho bowed his head and apologized for not being able to invite Big Brother because he decided to establish his own guild and offered me the position of vice president. After listening, he sighed and slowly asked Jin-ho if he knew why he founded the Eugene Guild. Jin-ho asks him, "Isn't it about money?" He replied, "If it's about money, we don't lack it. Do you really think I can create a much bigger guild and why have to deal with a bunch of problems just to get a few coins?" He said he wanted to form a guild to protect us. The power and influence of hunters is expanding day by day. In some cases, the power and influence of hunters is equal to the power of a nation. There are also hunters in the world who surpass S rank, and they are known as national-level hunters. In some small countries, hunters are like kings. I think, how can the law and government still be able to protect us? I want to gather trustworthy hunters in a guild. Those trustworthy hunters are gathered by money or personal relationships. I see you have truly found such a person. You have been approved, and I will give you the Eugene Guild. Build your guild and create powerful allies. Outside of trusted hunters, they become more valuable than any wealth. After hearing that, Jin-ho immediately said thank you, but he thought he couldn't accept it because he would join Big Brother Jinwoo's guild. At the Hunter Association, all the reporters were surrounding Jinwoo to interview him. A series of questions were asked to Jinwoo, but he did not answer because he was a bit shocked. Bak patted Jinwoo's shoulder and said it would be tiring if Jinwoo beat around the bush with these people, so please follow me. He would lead Jinwoo another way, but this time Bak was surprised when Jinwoo used the skill and then teleported to another place, causing him a severe shock. Guildmaster Choi behind him said, "A Maj-class hunter with that kind of movement." Mr. Bak Yun-ho couldn't believe his own abilities. His eyes still couldn't keep up with Jinwoo. He knew Jinwoo was really getting stronger, but that wasn't the problem right now. The way Jinwoo moved just now and the magical energy emitted from the examination room. Jinwoo was much stronger than last time. Sung Jinwoo is currently much stronger than the two of them. It didn't take long for Jinwoo to wake up. Jinwoo couldn't get stronger like that in a short time. Or not. Is Jinwoo not a twice-awakened hunter but a hunter with the ability to grow in power? The news spread as far as Washington. Wang Dong-soo is surprised that Jinwoo is still alive. Jinwoo is currently putting his pearl up for auction. The boss here said that this artifact will take a little longer to be evaluated. But this is the first time he has seen a ball dyed red like this. It really is able to amplify magic by 100%. Even the most famous artifact master craftsmen can only create orbs with about 50% amplifications after pouring out their heart and soul. If Choi Jong-yam were to see this, he'd be walking in here with stacks of cash. The boss asked Jinwoo where he got it from. Jinwoo said that he found it in a dungeon. He asked Jinwoo if he wanted to see the equipment being auctioned in his auction house. He could help Jinwoo buy it at a good price. Hearing that, Jinwoo also wanted to check it out because he really wanted to clear the demon tower as quickly as possible and get the holy water of life. Jinwoo needs equipment to protect him from the heat of the demon tower. He asked the boss if he could buy equipment that was resistant to fire. Is there anything similar? He said not really. On the contrary, artifacts with elemental resistance are usually very expensive, so we don't sell them online. However, there are still a few things that can be easily found today. Among the different types of magic, fire is the most popular. Please follow me. Inside the room are a series of high-class armors. The boss asked Jinwoo if he liked any of the dishes here. Jinwoo asked him if it was safe enough here to just keep these equipment inside thick glass panels. I don't see any special protective equipment. The boss explained that these glass panels were reinforced with magic and would be fine even if an rank hunter punched it with all his strength. Jinwoo finished listening. It seemed unbelievable. The boss told Jinwoo he could try punching it if he didn't believe what he said. If Jinwoo breaks the glass, he can keep the item inside. Jinwoo's eyes now became unusual. A powerful aura surrounded his body, making the guild boss scared. While Jinwoo was about to punch the glass, he stopped Jinwoo. He said he was just joking for fun. If Jinwoo really broke it, former hunters might flock here and there. Their auction house has a protection contract with the hunter guilds. He looked at Jinwoo and smiled bewilderedly. Is this guy a hunter of the mage class? How can he muster such strength? Jinwoo asks if there are any daggers here that I can see. The boss replied, of course. An employee approached and introduced himself as the person in charge of the weapons department. Please come this way. The boss here looked at the glass and was a little surprised, not understanding what had happened just now. Don't tell me he watered the glass without even touching it. Jinwoo picked up the dagger and asked how much it was. The employee replied that it cost 30 million won. Jinwoo held the knife in his hand and thought for a while. This dagger is worse than Night Killer, but it's this expensive. The stats are similar to Rasaka's fang at best. Jinwoo held his dagger and asked how much is it worth. He held up the knife and exclaimed, this is the first time I've seen a pattern like this. Could be worth 100 million won or more. Jinwoo was a bit shocked after hearing this. He bought that dagger at the store for 2.8 million gold. Sang-shik's sword with attack 10 was worth 3 million. Jinwoo's landscaping equipment has cost hundreds of millions of won. If Jinwoo could sell equipment in the store at a high price, then Jinwoo would no longer need to sell this gem. In the president's room, Bak was still thinking about Jinwoo's problem. His eyes in his beast state can accurately predict someone's abilities. Sung Jinwoo was definitely weaker than Bak at the Red Gate, but now with such abilities, Jinwoo can completely create his own guild without having to join anyone else's guild. What are the top guilds in the country compared to him? If he continues to get stronger, at some point he will become number one. Both Choi Jong-in and Bak are just wasting their efforts in vain. At Jinwoo's apartment, department head and enthusiastically shouted, Boss Bak. Maybe he's trying to recruit some Jinwoo, but I haven't given up yet. If I could talk to him one more time, I would. Every employee here tries their best to support head of security. The assistant worriedly asked if you thought Sung Jinwoo would welcome us and all the reporters here. Chief says we are camping here too. Jinhao looked out the window from inside the house and saw a group of journalists and reporters and sat down in fear. Jinwoo said he would go down and tell them to leave us alone. Jinhao listened and stopped his brother from doing so. Appa will truly become a garbage pile of bad online gossip. Stopping reporters will only make things worse. Jinwoo was confused and didn't know what he had done to be like that. Jinhao was still continuing to talk when suddenly there was a knock on the door from outside. Jinwoo just walked out with an angry face and said, Are they knocking on our door now? I'll go talk to them. Jinha stopped, but Jinwoo was still determined to open it. Hey, you and the others stop. Jinwoo's voice suddenly stopped before Jinho was sitting and crying pitifully. He said his father kicked him out. Jinwoo had a bit of a hard time believing it and asked again to find out that the village Jinho previously lived in was under his father's name. That's why he hoped Jinwoo could let him stay temporarily during this time. Jinha immediately ran out and asked who that person was. But Jinwoo said he didn't know he'd never met him before, then closed the door and went inside, leaving poor Jinho outside crying. At home, Jinho's mother asked his father if he wasn't a little too strict with Jinho, but he said he deserved it. If Jinho wants to be independent, then he has to do everything himself, like following his big brother. Saying this, he suddenly stopped and turned to look at Jinho's mother and then fainted. That night, Jinwoo stood looking at Jinha the whole time, wondering who would be next to Jinha when he left. Jinwoo then summoned several night soldiers and said that each one of them was capable of handling any rank hunter. Doesn't Tusk have 4 guards? Why are there only 3 of them here? And then Jinwoo remembered that he had summoned one of them into a shadow soldier because it was stuck on the dungeon ceiling. Jinwoo told the 2 guards to stay and protect Jinha. Jinwoo then needs to use other soldiers to protect the surrounding neighborhood where he lives. He stood on the roof of Jinwoo's building and told the soldiers that from now on they would be the guards of this neighborhood. Be careful not to let others notice. Now, start patrolling. In the car, Jinwoo asked Jinho, "Did you sleep well last night?" He happily replied yes. The motel's facilities are very good. Jinwoo stayed there for the past few days until we could find an office space for the guild. Jinwoo was still a bit skeptical at this time, but Jinho actually refused to become the Yujin Guild Master of the Architectural Corporation and came here. But Jinwoo still shouldn't tease him for giving it up. The cause is Jinwoo's fault no matter what. Jinho also asked Jinwoo what business he was planning to buy the building so early. Before he could answer Jinho's question, Jinwoo disappeared without a trace. Jinwoo was now standing in front of the demon tower. He had prepared everything and the new equipment would protect Jinwoo against this heat. Wind cloak and an unnamed ring with water properties that he bought at the auction. A perfect preparation. While going inside, a mission opened. A normal mission. Collecting Demon Souls Part 2. Destroy the Demon Tower King Baron and collect his soul. Reward 1 is Premium Stone. The second attribute bonus is 30 points. Third hidden bonus, Jinwoo said that the closer to the end the better the rewards. Skills like Shadow Extraction, Shadow Storage. The domain of Monarch. So far the special skills have brought amazing effects. Floor 76 was now unlocked. Jinwoo stepped inside. As soon as Tusk entered, he combined with the Greed Gem to massacre all the soldiers on the Demon Tower. An extremely terrifying power was emitting, making Jinwoo a bit surprised. After receiving the gem, Tusk's ability returned to the way he was before he became a shadow soldier. Gem size will also change according to the person using them. At the hospital, the doctor announced that Jinho's father had been sleeping for 2 days straight. "Are you saying I'm that exhausted? Has the doctor found any cause after the examination?" The doctor asked if anyone near him was a hunter or had an awakening. Hearing this, he seemed a bit confused. The doctor immediately asked him if he had heard of eternal sleep. It is a sleep from which one can never wake up. Not only can the patient not wake up, but the other person's life energy is also proportionally depleted, and they must use a machine that uses magical energy to maintain their vitality. Live for patience. Eternal sleep breaks out after the portals appear, and it will kill anyone who cannot afford machines to support their lives. Patients who develop the disease all have the same symptoms, feeling sleepy and eventually falling asleep without ever waking up. Eternal sleep's origin is related to magical energy. No one by nature can withstand magical energy, and eternal sleep only appears when exposed to magical energy for a long time. You must be careful with magical beasts or magical stones or people with magical energy. He asked, how to recognize that symptom appears. Must there be some solution in the current conditions? The doctor asked, is anyone in your family currently a hunter? Hearing this, he also knew that he could not avoid contact with magic as it was becoming more and more popular in society. He clenched his fist and said, am I ready to fail? Will I, Yu hand fail? I will not surrender. I'm not dead, right? At the same time, on a Japanese island, the ants have successfully survived on the island. On Jeju Island, the island's patrol team is circling the island to review the situation. An old man came to greet the two of them. He asked how everyone on patrol was doing. Has the person next to you just arrived? The young man replied, that's right. He turned to look at the mage next to him and said, although cases like this don't come across often, it's okay to patrol every day and try to remember the faces of the villagers here. If a portal appeared on an island this far away, we'd be in big trouble. We'll probably all die if a broken dungeon appears here, because we detect it too slowly. That's why the first thing we have to do is quickly locate the gate using magic energy sensing. Then send a request to the hunters on the island, and they will take 3 days to come help us. In other words, if you're wondering what we're going to do while waiting for the reinforcements to arrive, we're just going to look to see if any portals appear in those 3 days. Because the hunters in this village are only 2 of us, and we are D rank and D rank. So we are not responsible for closing the gate. 2 young men are chatting, and whatever happens, happens. A giant ant walking on 2 legs appeared to their surprise. At the demon tower, Jinwoo defeated the monsters one by one. The shadow minion stats he can extract and store increase after the spirit stat increases. But unfortunately, Jinwoo couldn't extract the demon's shadows here. Jinwoo secretly thought that if he moved in large groups like this, it might not be effective, but he needed to manage them more effectively. Thinking for a long time, Jinwoo ordered the soldiers to divide into 6 groups. Team Tusk, Team Igris, Team Iron, 1 tank team, High Orcs A and High Orcs B. Jinwoo has 2 requests. 1 is to follow the divided group and destroy any enemies along the way. 2 is to notify him when he finds the travel document. Then they received orders and dispersed. Thanks to this strategy, it will speed up the speed at which passports fall out. Currently, Jinwoo's priority goal is to get to the top floor as quickly as possible. Jinwoo just sent his soldiers away not long ago, but he gained a lot of experience. It's really convenient. Now, you just have to wander around and enjoy it. The Dark Soldiers are currently encountering high-class demons, so if Jinwoo needed to continuously use magic recovery. A few days later, the tank leader had leveled up 10 levels since their last meeting. Not only Jinwoo had leveled up, but his soldiers had leveled up as well. Splitting into groups to hunt like this is extremely convenient. There are 20 floors left. Jinwoo can climb this 80th floor much faster than he thinks. It actually only took 2 days to climb these 80 floors. You may not be able to find a passport in this factory. You don't know if there are any strong enemies elsewhere. Suddenly, Jinwoo's magic power began to decrease suddenly. The enemy forces seemed overwhelming, so Jinwoo had no choice but to summon them. The next day, 2 consecutive ambushes took place. Once again, we had to call back the fallen soldiers. Groups of High Orcs B and Igris were also attacked afterwards. Jinwoo thought that there must be some strong troops on this floor, but strangely, Tusk's group was close to the Igris group but was ignored and ambushed the High Orcs Group A. Maybe these demons aren't strong enough to defeat Tusk. If they deliberately choose targets they can win against, it means they are smart enough to know which enemies are weak. If they have ambushed the group attacking the High Orcs Group B, the next target is the Tanks Group. Jinwoo stood next to the soldiers waiting for an ambush. After a while, the high-ranking demons arrived with a noble demon and 3 demon knights. Suddenly, one of the knights came to attack the Tanks army. With 1 attack, he was able to defeat the bears. This is also the reason why their recovery speed cannot keep up. Jinwoo suddenly came out of nowhere. The knight inside came to attack Jinwoo, but then Jinwoo hit him like a sandbag a few times. Then another guy rushed up, but before he could act, Jinwoo stabbed him and died on the spot. Jinwoo looked at the commander and said, "I was wondering what it would be like if a demon was afraid. But now we know. The demon has no choice but to counterattack. The points it attacks are all fatal," Jinwoo thought at this time. Low-level demon is equivalent to D-rank middle-led C-rank high-level demon B-rank high-level demon. A rank ancient demon, a plus rank. Mini noble demon boss is S rank. This demon tower level is roughly like that. Jinwoo approached and used his bare hands to squeeze that noble demon's face. It was scared and surrendered. Jinwoo was a bit skeptical because these guys spoke human language. Jinwoo took off the demon's mask and it turned out to be a girl. The demon apologized to Jinwoo and begged him to spare his life. Jinwoo said she attacked her soldiers and now she's apologizing. She said she made a serious mistake, but in our guild we are assigned to protect this area. We can't just sit back and let the bastards do whatever they want. At this point she stammered and said, "I mean, let someone run around and kill other demons like ants. Please forgive me." Jinwoo asked her if she was stupid to beg for her murderer's life. She said that as a knight, it is their duty to protect their master. "I'm sure the other riders will be happy that I'm safe." Jinwoo was surprised because he had never seen such a selfish demon. He really didn't want to stab her with that human-like appearance. The girl realized that Jinwoo had an opening and was about to approach and kill him, but Jinwoo was already on guard. Tusk protects Jinwoo from behind. He turned to ask her what she was doing. She realized she had offended the wrong person, so she bowed her head, begged forgiveness, and promised to do whatever Jinwoo wanted. Jinwoo said, "Travel document. Can you have it?" The demon girl said that the travel documents were being held by our family. "If you could take me home without harm, then I could get it for you." Jinwoo now understood why he kept cleaning the demon tower without seeing that it was protected. The demon girl knows where the path to the upper floor is hidden. She can show Jinwoo if he promises to spare her and her family's lives. Jinwoo sounds appealing but still doubtful about this. Jinwoo got close to her face, making her blush, but then he unleashed a terrifying magical energy that made the demon girl sweat. She stammered and said she wasn't lying. Jinwoo said that if she could give her passport, she herself would leave in silence. "But first, who are you?" On Jeju Island, the lucky ants that survived began to destroy and kill innocent people on this island. The scene was horrifying. The scene changes back to the demon tower. The girl introduces, "I am Lady Ezel, eldest daughter of the Ritter clan. Our clan is." Having said this, she said no more. Jinwoo didn't know what would happen if he asked straight to the point and was answered by a monster. He asked her if she heard a voice in her head telling her to kill humans. Hearing this question, the girl was a little confused and replied, "No, but we heard a different kind of voice. Protect where we are." Jinwoo pondered that the goals of the monsters here were different from those inside the gate. The goal of the demon beasts in the gate is to destroy humans, and the demon beasts in the dungeon is to protect the dungeon. Does that mean I'm like the monsters in the gate? Jinwoo asked when did she start hearing this voice. Ezel replied, "When we woke up here." Hearing this information, Jinwoo was a bit surprised, so it meant they used to live somewhere else. This could be a clue to finding the system. Jinwoo questioned where Ezel lived before coming here. She innocently replied that she lived in the demon world. "Before we knew it, we were stuck here." Jinwoo continued asking what she did in the demon world, and Ezel said that we prepared for war. They allied together to prepare for battle. Jinwoo asked confusedly, "Battle? Against what?" She said this was a battle against a very strong person that forced the demons to ally together. Speaking of which, the system has blocked information from Ezel. "You have exceeded the allowed information." Jinwoo was angry again. Just like the last time he talked to Bakura, the system forces the conversation to be blocked, so talking to her can help you find clues. Level up, dungeon, mission, rewards and punishments. Everything is like a game. It wouldn't be strange if the demons were set up as a game. Jinwoo continued asking who that enemy was. Ezel tried to speak, but then the system made her faint. The system has indeed reacted more aggressively when it comes to enemies. If the enemy has divine power like this and is trying to influence himself or the earth for some reason, is who these demons fought. Maybe that's a clue. Scene change back to Jeju Island. The ant had now massacred nearly every person living on the island. A healer who just lost concentration was stopped breathing by it. Rank E hunters are so weak that only one blow can kill them. After the number decreases, the ants immediately kill the healer and then those who are weaker. This monster knows that prolonging the battle will be detrimental to it. He also realized that this was an intelligent creature. At the Hunter Association, they observed the process of ants killing people through a camera on a car. The director told everyone that the mutant ants had invaded and cleaned up within a day. This mutant ant species was first discovered on a small island. This species often moves after finishing the attack. The hunters are very quick to assist, as when they arrive the area has been wiped out. Among the casualties were 4 E rank, 1 D rank, and 1 C rank manager. The decisive factor in defeating this mutant ant is that an A rank hunter joins in afterwards. In short, to kill a mutant ant, we need the strength of an A rank hunter. The death toll in the village after the attack was 294, and the number of hunters dispatched was 108. This mutant ant can fly, has keen senses, and can escape. The Japanese Hunter Association has said that the number sent is not excessive. Japan is one of the countries in Asia with the most advanced hunter system. Japan would still suffer as many casualties if those mutant ants flew to Korea like Japan. Our country has too many islands, and we don't have the ability to monitor them all. The chairman said, the island that was attacked is 150 kilometers from Jeju Island. If ants can fly that far, it's not just the coastal province that means it can fly to Mappo. Meaning if the mutant ants fly in another direction, they could go to Jindo Island or Wando District. They are more like bees than ants. Korea does not have the manpower like Japan to send hunters to every island. If we send 1 or 2 low-rank hunters, they will only come to become food. Who will help South Korea in a situation such as this? A nation that has a lot of hunters, but also a lot of lands to protect like China or Russia. The United States, who refused to help the first time when this Red Gate opened. Really headache. Suddenly Director Woo told President Go Gun-hee he didn't reveal this in the previous meeting, but there was someone secretly contacting him. That person is Hwang Dong-soo from the Scavenger Guild. He said he would cooperate in the upcoming Jeju Island raid. Hearing this, the president quickly realized that this was a plot of his. The main target is Mr. Sum Jinwoo. The chairman asked Director Woo about his decision. The director said that because there were some problems with Hunter Bak Yoon-ho at the Red Gate, we have submitted a request to deny entry to Korea. But Hunter Hwang Dong-soo was not the only hunter in contact. There was also a national-level hunter. At this time, we saw a man with long blonde hair like a lion. The tall, muscular body was about to meet Chairman Gun. Scene change at Devil's Tower. Hazel woke up and asked Jinwoo when did he sleep. He didn't answer but said that it seemed like demons weren't very close to each other. Jinwoo pointed at the demons and said that they tried to attack. After listening, Hazel was a bit surprised. She asked, "Don't tell me you protected me while I was sleeping." She bowed her head to thank Jinwoo. She said that demons without intelligence do not consider demons with intelligence to be the same race. Jinwoo asked her if the passport was far. Then the two went into the demon castle. Hazel asked a knight where his father was. The knight said that the king was at the palace. "Lady Hazel, who is the man behind you?" Hazel said that he was an important guest, so welcome him well. Then Hazel took Jinwoo to meet his father. He panicked and asked Hazel, "Why did you bring this person here?" Hazel said that this is a guest, so, before she finished speaking, he interrupted her. What guest would bring an army to someone else's house? He asked Hazel, "Can't he see? Countless soldiers hid behind that man's shadow. You dare bring your soldiers into my palace?" Then the knights pointed their swords at Jinwoo as if they were about to kill a pig. Jinwoo looked cool. Looking at him, he said that he promised Hazel that he would leave here if he gave me his passport. He looked at Jinwoo and thought, was he the one who killed the demons while climbing the tower? Despite being one of the nobles, the Rainier family is one of the weakest among the 20 demon families. I heard he defeated Vulcan at Metis. Can our family deal with him? Thinking about it, he asked Jinwoo, "Do you just want a passport?" Jinwoo said there was one more thing. He patted Hazel on the shoulder and said he wanted to add her. He just thought that Hazel knew where the travel documents were, so he wanted her to lead him to each travel document, but it seemed her father didn't think so. At the dining table, he asked Jinwoo, "Do you really only need a passport and a guide?" He thought to himself, "It's embarrassing to have to compromise with humans, but I know this monstrous human is the leader of those black soldiers. I can't fight him, so..." Thinking about it, he asked Jinwoo, "You won't put my daughter in danger, right?" Jinwoo sighed. Does a devil also know how to worry about his daughter? Jinwoo replied, "I will keep my promise." Hearing this, he felt reassured and handed over his travel documents. Jinwoo held the paper in his hand. "Do I have to obtain entry passes from each clan from now on?" Jinwoo asked Hazel, "Should we leave now?" The system announces that the noble devil has requested to join the group. Group members are allowed to use magic teleportation rings and experience is divided depending on their contribution. Hearing this, Jinwoo told Hazel, "If a battle breaks out, you must promise not to participate. I will take care of everything." Hazel heard that he wanted to protect her and immediately felt shy. On the way, Jinwoo asked Hazel, "Is it okay not to ride his horse?" She said that only party members can enter the magic teleportation circle. "So I can't take it with me?" Mr. Jinwoo, wait a minute, this is the alcohol that the head of the Garshi clan loves. My father prepared items that each of the clan heads will appreciate. He asked her, "Why?" She gently explained, "If we give it to them, it will be easier to negotiate. Hearing this, Jinwoo asked Ezel if she had a good relationship with the Garshi clan leader and they gave her a chance. She said she didn't have one. In the past, clans always competed for high-ranking positions in the demon world, but they had no one hostile to them. Hearing this, Jinwoo interrupted. Okay, you just need to stay here, I won't be gone for long. It only took a few minutes for the flames to erupt along with the screaming from the Garshi clan's castle. Changing the scene at the Hunter Association, the tall man met Chairman Gunn. He said the chairman speaks English very fluently, but I'm sure you didn't hear wrong. He is Korea's 10th S rank hunter. Some Jinwoo or whatever reason doesn't know where he is right now. Director Woo said he is very elusive, so our surveillance department is trying our best to locate him. He said how could he trust the director? Director Woo replied, the Hunter Association is not stupid enough to lie to a national-level hunter. He smiled. I understand. Yes, I heard that our Hwang Dong-soo went to Korea and caused some bad things, right? He is an S-rank hunter. We don't have a suitable place to store it or let it roam around. Listening to this, the chairman thought to himself, ours, he talks like Hunter Hwang Dong-soo has fallen out of America's hands right now. He continued, well, Sung Jinwoo is just a part, but I also came here to ask the Korean Hunter Association to refuse Hwang Dong-soo entry. But it seems like you've already solved that problem. The president replied, yes, you are right. He shook hands with the president and said he would come back if he had any other requests. The president stood in front of that man thinking he was his immature son, even though he himself is old. The blonde man said he knew that Korea was very distressed by the Jeju Island incident. That's why he came here. He wanted to help, but because he was so busy it was bad, and of course it would be a different story if Korea hired him. Director Woo asked, can you let someone from the surveillance department come with you? He waved his hand and said he could do whatever he wanted but make sure today's conversation wouldn't be revealed. The chairman said to the director, Director Woo Jin-chul, what do you think about that delusional man's plan for raid Jeju Island? He told the president not to worry because the Japanese side had already confirmed it. A hunter from a large guild in Japan will visit Korea today. The scene transitions to the demon castle, a scene of utter devastation, showing Jinwoo beating up the entire demon Garshi clan. The system gives Jinwoo more experience when slaying high-level demons, and can upgrade the rank of shadow soldiers as they level up. The soldiers now request an increase in the notification system. Do you agree to the request? Jinwoo then immediately agreed. A series of magical powers surrounded the soldiers. Knight Agris has been promoted from Knight to Elite Knight. Elite Knight has been promoted to Knight. Soldiers and knights and above can be named. Jinwoo named it the Agris tank. This time it was covered with a very different layer of aura. At this time it was at the level of about a C rank. Ezel asked Jinwoo if he knew how many demon tribes he would wipe out. Jinwoo said it was 89 floors, not counting her clan, maybe 9. Ezel said from the 90th floor onwards each floor will be protected by a higher-ranking noble clan. They are completely different in alliance. If you can convince them, they will give you travel documents, like my tribe. Jinwoo said if only he were weaker than her clan. Is she willing to negotiate? Ezel. Hearing this, it seemed like I was enlightened. Jinwoo turned around and left. She had said that there was always a high-ranking competition between the demon tribes. I will make the Raidus tribe unique in this place. Ezel said that his clan's name was Radier, but boss Jinwoo. Why did you spare my clan? Jinwoo cosplay chap boy said because he likes her. Hearing this made Ezel blush and think of his family and children. Jinwoo secretly thought to himself that he's just like Jinho. How could he fit into the clumsy type or something like that? As Ezel said, the difficulty will suddenly increase from floor 90 onwards. The level of magical beasts and the strength of each animal in an army will be completely different that the lower levels cannot compare. Even though Jinwoo's spirit stat had increased, it seemed insignificant given the rate at which his magic power was being consumed, which showed that Jinwoo's shadow soldiers continuously regenerated after being destroyed. That didn't mean it was impossible for him to pass the 90th floor by luck. Both the Patos clan ranked 4th and the Reikato clan ranked 5th. Jinwoo's thoughts were interrupted when Ezel asked him if there was anyone else as strong as boss Jinwoo. Jinwoo said maybe 2 people. What? Jinwoo ponders. Go Gunhee and Cha Hyen. Those two definitely felt stronger than the others' ranks. Based on their aura, Cha Haiyan was several leagues ahead of Choi Jong-in, who is known as the ultimate soldier. Moreover, in the past, S rank could not measure strength. They probably had much greater strength that other ranks could not compare to.